back in the day, 1980, Hembury School played Portway School in like a first team school match. My first ever game was actually for Hembury on Twyford's pitch. Managed to get man of the match, and a couple of characters come up to me, Tom Cancel and Ray Hazard, and asked if I would like to sign on for Twyford. So yeah, that was the start of it all. Obviously got introduced to Don and Alan and all the old boys. And yeah, started playing for Twyford back in 1980, probably June. But my first game was under Ray Hazard in second, and I can't remember the name. Sorry, I think it was Old Cathedrals or Old Custodians, and it was out by Firebrands, where obviously Ross Opie plays his hockey. Yeah. It was in the Bristol Grammar pitch next door there. But yeah, I can't remember the name of the site, but be lost. Got a few, 2 or 3 that I remember. I don't remember much these days, but in 1994 we played a league game against Winterbourne. We batted first, and that was in the days of Steve Shaw was playing, Chris Carr, Nogsy, me, Gar, I think Jim Lindsay, Dave Urch, all that sort of stuff. Maybe not Jim Lindsay and Dave Urch, but we played Winterbourne. We batted first, and we were skittled out for 113. I think Nogsy top scored. Chris Carr got a few as well, but it wasn't very many, 26, 25. And then we went out to bowl. Winterbourne were chased 113, were 45 for no wicket. And then just the floodgates opened, and I managed to get 8 for 33. So yeah, that's a memory that sticks out for me. Yeah, nice. Also, my first 100, my only 100 actually for Twyford was back in 96, I think. We were playing Portishead in the league game at home, and I managed to hit 109. Obviously, I haven't hit many 100s because I keep hitting the ball in the air. That's just keep it on the ground. No, keep it on the ground. But yeah, there's a couple of members. But yeah, I mean, proudest moments as well. I mean, I'd like to mention the fact that obviously I've been doing the ground for years as well, and I love doing the ground. And now, having stopped playing, I thought that would be tough to take, but managed to start watching Alex now. So me and Jane, it's been brilliant the last couple of years. Going around following Alex playing for the first team. So yeah, it hasn't been too bad. Still miss playing, but it's cushioned the blow, I think, a little bit. Yeah. But yeah,
good man. Cool.
Proudest moments, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not one for best players really. I've played with quite a load of players out over the years, but when I first started playing with Twyford back in 1980, we had obviously the likes of Vernon, John, Don Owen, my father-in-law. There's some great players: Alan Mathias, Dave Urch, Jim Lindsay, Pete Spare, and all great characters. But as a young lad, you just look up to them. Look, when you were sort of in all of them, and players like John was prolific. Johnny Jones, prolific. If, only the other person I could probably compare him all these years who consistently got runs is maybe Fowles. And I'll have a beer off you, Fowles, for that as well. But yeah, he was prolific, John. A lot of stories with John. He was a cantankerous old sod, moody, angry sometimes. He was hard to manage. And I remember years back. I remember Don, father-in-law. I think he sent him off the pitch. He actually sent him off the pitch for his behaviour. It was, but he was a lovely bloke. Load of stories about John. Alan and Ray have mentioned a couple, but a couple like Ray mentioned about where he rode his bike, racing bike. He used to do racing miles and miles on his bike. He used to do. And he went down to Exmouth when we had a touring game. He played there. I can't remember how many he got, but he then rode back on the Saturday morning from Exmouth, and we were playing Gordano Valley. I can't remember if he used to open, but he got there late, and he still hit a ton. having got off his bike, we obviously had all his kit and that, and it was just incredible. But another game I remember with John was we were playing down Western Belvedere, and we must have been chasing around about 180, 190. And John, we got to the last ball of the game, and I think I was just chatting to the other night, actually, social distancing, of course. I was chatting to Stewie, and Stuart was scoring that game, funny enough, and I couldn't remember who was scoring. And Stu just turned out it was me, I was scoring. But we wanted, off the last ball, 4 to win, and John wanted 6 for 100. And he smashed the ball back over the top of the head, over the top of all of us lot. It was incredible. Yeah, brilliant memory. Yeah. Also, one other memory about John was John used to live around the corner from Ray Hazard, and he used to live with his mum. But unbeknown to us, he moved next door to me, mum and dad, and my brother. And he was. It's like an elephant's graveyard, his back room. He had loads and loads of bats. He would just buy a bat, use it once. If he didn't like it, he'd just chuck it in the bedroom. It's incredible. And he'd give me a bat one day. I went in the back room in there, and there were bats everywhere, under the bed, leaning against the chair. And he said, go on, Will, what would you want? I picked up a flipping SS Jumbo all those years ago. Yeah, give it to me for nothing. But yeah, great character, John. Yeah. Great character.
Fair play.
A couple come to mind. Obviously, Vernon passed away last year. He was a great player. He did everything. He batted, he bowled, he kept wicket. Yeah, he was a great character. And I socially sort of went around with him. One little story we used to have, years ago. We used to go play golf together. Me, Vernon, Johnny Jones, and Perksy. We went off to Jewstow, and I didn't have any clubs. So I went up to Don's, and I said to Don, can I borrow your golf clubs? He said, we're going out for the day, me, Vernon, John, and Steve, and any chance of borrow? He said, yeah, no problem. He said, look after him. I said, yeah, fair enough. Anyway, we went off to Jewstow, and we were playing one of the holes, and John hits his ball straight down the middle. Vernon hits his ball straight down the middle. Perksy. Then it's my go, and it was a dog leg to the right, and I was a bit tentative, so I thought, well, a nice little 6-iron to the bend, and I'll get onto the green from there. So I teed it up, and I saw the ball go about 10 yards in front of me, but the club head went about 50. The bloody club head come off. Well, before I could get the clubs back to Don, Vern's on the phone. He said to Don, he said, bloody Wills, he's wrapped your bloody 6-iron around the blinking tree with a crap shot. I went, oh, of course. I gets back. Don gives me a bollocking. And to this day, I think Don thinks I wrapped it around the tree. But no, the club had come off. But yeah, Vernon. I know another person I miss is Robin Moore, who is a great lad, a great character. He's obviously in the Isle of Wight now. But yeah, Rob, you got to mention, mate. He was full of enthusiasm. Encouragement on the pitch was second to none. A brilliant character, larger than life, and miss him as well. Miss Rob as well. Yeah. Well, I'm going to probably go for a social moment. I think the best moment for me and for the club really, I think, is when Don, Alan, and Derek Ford, put their. Well, I don't actually know how they did it, but they put their house. I don't know if they put a house on the line or whatever they put, and we had the club built. I mean, we used to be in the club next door, Portray All Boys, and we had some great times in there. But I think for the making of the club, when we had the club built in '89, that was the best moment, because obviously, all that money we were generating was going back into the club, and it's been brilliant ever since. Yeah, it's been brilliant. Yeah. So I think the club.
Cool.
Was way back in the early 90s. We were even in post-star match, and I can't remember, it might have been against Hannam. And in those days, obviously, the team would sit in front of the clubhouse and have their photograph taken of, and it would be put in the paper. Both teams would be put in the paper, and they'd do a match report. Well, we were first, and it was probably 15, 20 yards in front of the club, and the cameraman was pointing back towards the club. We had our pictures taken, Twyford, and then we sort of dispersed, and me and Robin Moore, we went into the change rooms, and I think everybody else moved around or whatever. Anyway, while we were in the club, in the change rooms, Hannum, it might have been Hannum, but whoever the team was, were just about to sit down. So Rob goes to me, why don't we just get up on the chairs, he said, by the door. He said, drop our drawers, he said, and stick our asses out, just as he's about to take the shot. So with that, they all settled down, and Rob goes, now. So we were stood up on the either side of the door, dropped our drawers, poked our asses out, and then click, and we made the evening post. That was quite nice. We made the evening post. So off the pitch, we had a spate of cars being vandalised on Pemple Lane. So I'm not quite sure whether it was winter or summer. I'm not sure. We used to get there Saturday, Sunday nights, and we went through about 5 or 6 weeks where the cars were getting smashed in. So we had a meeting, and it was in the days of Chris Carr, Gar, Sean, me, Kirksey, and we decided that we'd go out there one evening, get in the ditch on the other side of the road on the Charhampton cricket side, and we ducked down there. There must have been about 5 or 6 of us there. We'd get in there, get low down. If anybody comes along during that night, we're going to be jumping out, and we all had cricket bats and whatever. But we also all had monkey masks on. We had monkey masks, so we're all lying in the thing. Perpsy's bought bottle of Hungarian brandy, so we're half pissed. And about 10:30, 11 o'clock, this car comes trundling down the Pemple Lane and comes down and just parks behind the last car, and everybody goes quiet. So this is it. This must be it. So we said, look, give it a couple of minutes. We said, and then I think someone gives a nod, and we all jumped up, ran at the car, and all monkey masks up, cricket bats, gets up to the car, and this bloke's giving this bird one. And Gar, I think it was Gar, goes, you ain't got the time, mate, with a monkey mask on. The bloke looked up and went, oh, it's 11 o'clock. And and we just sort of casually walked off. But that was a little funny moment we had. Yeah, wrong person, wrong time of night. That was a difficult one. All I'd say is Twyford, best club in Bristol.